Hello guys, this is Risa from Java project. Today we are going to make health monitoring system using esp32 as our web page server and develop a local web page to monitor all our readings. So now let's get started.
So now let's look at our schematic part. For making schematic, we generally use freezing software for Arduino, which basically enable us for making schematics diagram. Moreover, it can also help us in making PCBs, or you can switch to breadboard view for easy view. Now let me show it first. This is opening. Okay, this is breadboard view. Okay, you can switch view from here. This is schematic view and this is PCB view. Okay, here you can see our esp32 board has three sensors, namely Pulse Sensor, DHT11 Sensor and Temperature Sensor. This temperature sensor is known as DS18B20. Okay, this is coming with one wire interface. Here you can see that all of the sensor contain two general wires. This is VCC and this one GND. Okay, this is basic wire in all the sensors, VCC and GND, VCC and GND. Okay, so this is general wire. The other one wire is the data wire. Okay, here you can see this purple one is for pulse sensor, this orange one is for DHT11 sensor, and this white one is for temperature sensor. Okay, these are joined at different GPIOs. Okay, here you can see it is connected to GPIO 18. Here it is connected to GPIO 19. Okay, so nothing fancy in this. Just one thing you need to remember, that between data wire and VCC wire, you have to connect a 4.7 ohm resistor. Okay, 4.7 kilo ohm resistor. Okay, remember this thing. If you don't connect this one, that temperature sensor will not work. Okay.
For coding, you first need to download Arduino IDE. Just type Arduino IDE in your browser. Then click on the first link. Here you have to download this Windows zip file. Okay. Then you need to just download. Then it will automatically download. Okay. I will not install it since it's already installed in my machine. So I just need to start running it. After opening the code, you will see this mass of code. You don't need to fear. It looks huge or humongous, but believe me, it's small one. First, to understand this one, we have to understand what all is going in our code. Okay. So first, try to grab a summary of our code. Our code has been divided into three parts. Okay, the first one is acquisition of sensor data from pulse sensor, temperature sensor, and DHT11 sensor. Then the second part is web client server, and the third part is client browser, or you can say our very own customized web page. Okay. For getting data from our different sensors, we are using different libraries like Adafruit, DHT, DHTUO library. The DHT11 sensor is controlled by these three libraries: Adafruit, DHT, and DHTU library. Okay, the pulse sensor is controlled by Pulse Sensor Playground library, and the temperature sensor is controlled by one wire and Dallas temperature library. Okay, then comes the web client server, which handles the request which our web page or the user sends to our web server. Here the web server is esp32. We are hosting esp32 as a web server. Okay, so it is controlled by Wi-Fi.h, which control our Wi-Fi connections, web server, and Wi-Fi client. These are used to control our web client server. Then comes the client browser, which requests data from our web server. This is by our very own customized web server, and our customized web server, our customized web page runs on HTML, CSS, jQuery, and Ajax. Okay, so this whole part is our coding. So now let's try to grasp how we are coding all these parts. Okay, here we are first importing all the necessary libraries which are required. I have already explained how these libraries are used. Okay, here we are just explaining the variables. This is for DHT. Okay, this is how we initialize DHT library. We have to first define the pin, then we have to define DHT type, either it is DHT11 or it is DHT22, and then we have to pass these parameters into DHT unified DHT. Okay, it's just this thing. Then we are initializing our temperature sensor, or you can say DS18B20. Okay, so here we are first defining one wire at 19 GPIO 19. Okay, then we are passing our pin number into object name as one wire. Then we are initializing the rush temperature. Okay, the temperature sensor is controlled by two libraries. You will be remembering the first one is one wire and the second one is Taylor's temperature. Okay, the one wire is just an interface which is used to get data, acquire data from the pin, while the Taylor's temperature converts that raw data into temperature. Okay, then we have got our pulse sensor library with pulse sensor as an object. Then these are some pins which are used to define our pulse sensor. This is the threshold. Okay, and these are some other things which are defined along with the pulse sensor. Then these are more variables, body temp, and this is temperature, is room temperature, this is body temp, and this is humidity. Okay, this is our SSID and password. You need to change this thing with your own SSID and this with your own password. You need to remember one thing, that you can only use 2.4 GHz. Don't use 5 GHz because it will not supported by your esp32. Remember this. Now we are using our web server at HTTP page. So port number 80 is for HTTP. If you are using 443, then it would be for HTTPS. But here we are using 80 or 80TS. That's all. This text is used to gather data from the sensors and then send to our web page on inquiry. Okay, this is our web page part from here till here. Okay, I will explain this at a moment, but first let's see how we are acquiring data first. Okay, then I will come back to this part. Here you look void setup. Okay, so here we are initializing first the serial monitor. This one. This is known as serial monitor. This is used to grab data from our sensor and look what all things our sensor is doing. Okay, this is simple one. You don't need to worry about it. It's just a debugging feature. Then we are initializing our Wi-Fi with our Wi-Fi ID and password. This Wi-Fi starter means we are using esp32 as Wi-Fi station, so that other network can be connected. Okay, so that our esp32 can be connected to other routers. Then we are leaving a gap, serial.println, and then this means a gap. Okay, it's simple enough. Then we are initializing our DHT object. Then we are initializing our sensor and sensor T. Okay, this is for sensors is for our temperature sensor, whereas sensor T is for our DHT level. Okay, then we are initializing some pulse sensor pins. Okay, this is for input, and then we are using this Wi-Fi. If this is for debugging. Okay, if the Wi-Fi is not connected, then serial printer will print a dot sign. It will print dot sign till when the Wi-Fi is connected. If connected, then it will print the SSID and the local Wi-Fi IP. Okay, IP address. This is very important thing because on this only our web page will be hosted on this local IP. So we need to note down this when our esp32 starts. Okay. This will something look like this. When loading, it will give dot. Okay, and when connected, it will give the SSID of the router to which it is connected and an IP address. On this IP address, only our web page will work. You can see here Our web page is working on this IP address 192.168.1.100. You can see here. Okay. Then this is for pulse sensor. If the pulse sensor is not initialized, then the GPIO on the esp32 will continuously blink. Okay, this is also a debugging feature. Nothing big on it. Then here, this thing is used to send data to our server. Okay. So first, see how we are sending our data to our web page. Server on /data. This means that we are sending our data to, we are sending the sensor data to this web page. Okay, to our data on request, it will send data to our data. This is simple meaning. Don't try to confuse or take it around. Okay, this is does that only. Then we are initializing our DHT sensor. Okay, this is particularly used to encapsulate all the Adafruit sensor into one and then put this event to find what reading it is giving. In simple means, it is just initializing an object which will give our readings. Okay, you just need to remember this. Then we are getting our temperature and then we are storing it in temp. Then again we are getting our humidity from here and we are storing it in hum. Simple enough. I have written all the details. So you can go line by line and check what all you need. Okay. Here we have got sensor. This is for requesting temperature from our temperature probe. Okay. Then we are appending all the readings into one text. Okay, you can see here that we are appending temp, then we are appending degree Celsius, then we are appending our dash sign. This dash sign is used to separate different reading later on when we are reading this text in our web page. So here our reading has been converted into a string which is sent to our web page. Okay, you can see our reading being appended in text by serial monitor. Then this server.sends our text message as a plain text to our server. Which server? Then we then this data. Okay, this is simple enough. Then we are requesting our web page to be initialized once. Server on. This is for root. Okay, what will be displayed to you? This is root page. Okay, this will be displayed to you every time. Then we are using this page. Okay, this page function is our HTML. You can see here we are defining all the code in our page. Okay, now we are declaring server.begin to start our own server. Then if started successfully, then it will be HTTP server started. Okay, in loop part we are only using sensor library, pulse sensor, because it needs to be called every 10 milliseconds, because it doesn't know when you are putting your finger there. Okay, so it needs to be called, and we can only do this by using it in loop function. So this is all for our pulse sensor. Okay, and server.handle client, it will handle our request. So now let's look into our web page, how our web page is designed. Okay, so this is our web page. Okay, let's see how we are using our web page. First, we are including our script, our jQuery script. Okay, before this, you need to see one more thing. Understand how our web page is working. First all, we are using Ajax web model. We are not using our traditional web model, in which we need to, in which we are refreshing every time to get new reading. We are just using part of our web page to get the new reading or request a new reading. In traditional web page, to get a new reading, or you can say in real time, you have to refresh all the time, and that's not how our web pages usually work, and that's, you know, that's something obscure. So we are basically using Ajax web model. What we are doing in this, our web page is loaded once. You can see here our web page is loaded once, and then we are only calling the part of the web page which is used to get the readings. Here you can see our web page is loaded once, but only this part this part and this part is used to get the reading. Nothing else is used to get the reading. Can you see that? On pressing my finger against our pulse sensor, you can see that our reading is changing and it's requesting. Okay, so what that does mean? It doesn't mean that we are referencing our whole web page. We are just referencing part of it to get the reading done. Okay, this all the 4 readings are appended in text, which you can here see, and this is being sent to this data URL every second. You can see here that our limit is set to 1000 seconds. So now let me explain how we have made our web page. Okay, first off, we have included our Ajax script. You can say our jQuery script, which is used to fetch all the readings in real time. Then we have set our doc type to HTML and set our language to English. Then we are including font Open Sans from our Google font. Then we are using UTF-8 character set. Okay, then we are setting our compatibility to Internet Explorer Edge. Okay. These are few things. We are using initial scale as 1. Okay, then we are using our title. You can change it to your own. What is this title? This title doesn't refer to this title. Okay, remember this thing. This title refers to this one, health monitoring system. So we are giving our tab a title which is known as health monitoring system. Simple enough. Then these are some body which is colored. Okay, this gives the background color for the body, this color. Okay, then this is some columns. Actually these are style. Okay, this comes under CSS. You don't need to worry about this. These are just for defining blocks, columns, and our body, to give body our padding, width, or float. Or you can see it anytime. If you know HTML and CSS, it's very easy. Okay, then we will be seeing what all things we are reading. We are using h1 tag. This is something HTML stuff. Okay, so you don't need to worry about it. We are using HTML. We are using h1 tag for writing patient monitoring, health monitoring dashboard. Here you can see this. Okay, you can change it to your own, whatever you like. Then we are writing h3. We are using h3 tag to write a Math with Love by Jargon Projects, of course. So here it is. Fair enough. Then we are dividing our code into 4 different cards, as you can here see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is written by this HTML code. Okay, we are using image source, means we are using the icons, these icons from this website. Okay, this is the source link of our icons. Simple enough. This is room temperature, this is card column, just the HTML stuff. You don't need to worry about this one. Okay, the thing which is most important here is this part. This part is used to acquire reading from our web server, or you can say esp32, every 1 second, or you can say 1000 millisecond. Okay, so what we are doing is, first we are initializing our jQuery. Then we are waiting for our document to get ready. This function will wait till our DOMs is available. Then we have set limit to get data for every 1 second. Okay, this get data is a function, you can see here. Okay, get data. Then we are initializing our Ajax to get type, which is set as get. We can also use push. The other two, delete, and the one other sync, is not used here. Don't need to worry. Then we are using our URL as data. Here you have seen that data. On this only we are calling our web server to send all our data, our sensor data. Okay, yeah, it sounds quite confusing, but it's not. Then on successful sending of data, or you can say on successful receiving of data from our web page through our web server, it will store whatever we have received, the text message, in variable s. Okay, and this variable s will consist of will split the data using dash sign. You can see here we have used dash sign after each reading. Okay, we have used that. So it will split up the data using hash sign and store it in as at different place, s0, s1, s2, s3. Okay, that's how we are storing our temp, humidity, body temp and bpm data, and then we are displaying it here. You can see here we are displaying it here. Okay, we are defining first s3 tags and then we are displaying data here. Simple enough. Our function is done, then console log will write okay.
Finally, you need to export your code to esp32. Okay, you have to select the COM port here. Just select this COM12. Okay, you can check your COM port from device manager. Just type device manager and it will open up a dialog box with all the devices connected to your computer. Select the COM port. Okay, and you can see here my COM port is 12. My esp32 is connected on COM port 12. Okay, so I have chosen COM port 12. Just to choose this one and then upload. So your code will finally upload. Before that, keep in mind that you have to install this Silicon Labs CP210X software. Okay, you will get it in website, in their website. CP210X driver. Downloads, Windows driver. Okay, this is a file. Okay, you need to install this. I will submit all the libraries and link to download everything in the description below. Please check that one. Okay, so finally our code will be compiled and then uploaded in our ESP. So my uploading is complete. You can see here leaving hard reset by RTSP. It means my uploading is done, so I can monitor my readings from my web page. So you can change or tweak around in the code and change the heading or this tag, color, font, everything you can change here, or you can change the icon. Just don't change this part. Okay, otherwise you will be scratching your head to get the reading. So now we have completed our project. I hope you have understood every part of the code. If you have any doubt, you can comment down below and tell me. Also, like and subscribe for more such exciting videos. Stay tuned. Thank you.